Now Kodak Black needs help like yesterday. Now the perk might be fake, but Kodak Black gonna eat that shit cause he a gremlin. It's been a little while since we spoke about Kodak Black. Last time we spoke about Kodak, he was involved in something like Kodak usually is. Kodak Black is truly one of those rappers who I believe might have an allergic reaction to this thing we all value so much called freedom. Sad to say that someone who's as blessed as a guy like Kodak still doesn't realize the extent of his blessings. It's honestly really sad to see, but then again, this is fairly common with a lot of young rappers. Just yesterday, we covered Quando Rondo, who most likely ruined his entire life as a result of that arrest. So it's something we've seen a lot of, and I think Yak might be the leader of, the I'm allergic to freedom movement. He a pioneer for real. Now as for the story right here, so the story starts with something that happened about a week ago. The other day, a warrant was issued for Kodak Black's arrest in Broward County, Florida. A judge by the name of Barbara R. Duffy signed off on a warrant for the arrest of Bill Capri, which is Kodak Black's real name, and she did that because the gremlin himself thought it was a good idea to not show up for a mandatory drug and alcohol screening. So essentially he said, I ain't coming, and this warrant was then put in place. Now why exactly did he have to do this in the first place? Well, on the 16th of July last year, Kodak Black was riding around in his purple Dodge Durango with tinted windows in Florida. Florida's crazy. He was traveling south on Northwest 31st Avenue in an area called West Cypress Creek Road, when some officers noticed that his tinted windows appeared darker than the legal limit. After noticing that, the officers also noticed that his vehicle registration was also expired, and so they decided to pull over the vehicle at approximately 4:30 p.m. and so Yak pulled over. After that happened, according to the troopers, they said that I smell the gas. There was a strong odor of marijuana coming from inside the vehicle, and so a probable cause search was conducted. They then discovered a little bag with a seal that contained 31 white tablets, which was later identified as oxycodone. On top of that, they also discovered close to $75,000 in cash. We gonna pocket the money? After they made this discovery, by the way, it also turned out that Kodak's driver's license had expired over 30 days prior to the arrest. He hates freedom. Kodak Black ended up getting arrested and was shortly after that released after posting a $75,000 bond. So yeah, looks like they pocketed that shit. Now the terms of his release, random drug testing. So he got arrested last year with a bunch of oxycodone pills, which he most likely used as pain relief because he did get shot in the leg a couple months prior to that. So now it makes sense, right? They said he had to comply with this random drug testing, and then he ends up not showing up. And then a warrant for his arrest was issued, and then he ended up turning himself in. But let's backtrack for a second before we move on, because this is actually not the first time Yak decided not to show up for one of these random drug testings. On the 3rd of February, Kodak was supposed to show up for a drug test, but he ain't show up. He was then ordered to show up another time, which was on February 8th, and he did show up. However, and this is a big however, they found a little bit of Fenty. I ain't talking about Fenty Beauty. They found a little bit of fentanyl in this test sample. Fentanyl is the very thing that killed Lil Peep. It's a synthetic opioid that is 50 times more potent than heroin and 100 times more potent than morphine. And merely 2 milligrams of this, which equals to 10 to 15 grains of table salt, could kill a whole ass human being. So Kodak tested positive for this very dangerous opioid that's taken over 70,000 lives in the United States. Now to Kodak's defense, because I'm just here to give you facts, even if it counters what I, may believe, right? Kodak Black's attorney argued that there's a possibility that the lab worker who processed the sample might have mixed up Kodak Black's urine sample with someone else's. The lab worker himself showed up to court to testify that this could have been the case. However, it was mentioned by Kodak Black's lawyer that this lab worker was starstruck. So it sounds like this person was a fan of Kodak Black, and I say that to say they could have testified in his favor just to be in his good graces. That's not too far-fetched. Being a celebrity who's facing a case does mean that sometimes people will look at you in different ways because of your status, and they'll actually try to help you, you know what I'm saying? But us regular folks, we mess up one time, boom, you're done, son. See, I know my black ass wouldn't get that privilege, but anyway, something else related to this specifically, the judge ended up suggesting to Kodak's legal team that instead of another regular sample, most likely urine sample, he could do a hair drug test which would detect a pattern of repeated drug use during a 90-day block. His defense, however, didn't take up on that offer, and there was that. Now, as a result of this, Kodak was ordered by the judge to attend rehab for 30 days, which he did, and there's that. Now, going back to this most recent arrest, after he missed out on that second drug testing and that warrant was issued, Kodak decided to turn himself in to the authorities. He was taken into custody booked, and then eventually released on a $250,000 bond. So continuing the saga, by the way, like the video if you're enjoying this so far. Come on now, don't be a stingy ass bitch. The other day, Kodak Black ended up being the man of the hour after a clip went viral of him on Instagram Live. Kodak was ranting and saying a bunch of random stuff as he was on the floor. Honestly, it did not look like he was in his right mind. He looked like he was kind of tweaking off something.
A lot of time, even if you want to do it, you got like BB9s and you go to like that. I ain't saying that just down here. Y'all what you call it, yeah? Y'all ain't gotta bring out all y'all secrets. This ain't gotta be no lawsuit or none of that. Just be like that. You know, trust. Y'all to dictate to be to dictate. I bet. All right. I bet is on every this not new secrets. I bet if how we public records and public information public with and then everything else. So you like this is you scratch all the way out and if all of this if my is already.
So that was the video, and it went viral, I saw, and I was really creeped out. I mean, anyone with a set of two eyes can see that the man was not doing well at all. And whoever recorded, they're definitely planning on his downfall, because why in the world did you feel so comfortable recording him in this state for his almost 13 million Instagram followers? As someone who's around a person with this type of status, you should be looking out for them by not recording them while they're sitting on the floor ranting in this condition. So that's a huge red flag. Your people should be the ones looking out for you, and in this scenario, it did not look like whoever recorded was looking out for him. As a matter of fact, that looked like an attempt to make him look a certain way. But then again, maybe this is Kodak in his natural form, meaning maybe this is how he is outside the camera and this is kind of normal. I mean, I don't know. I'm just very confused as to why the person recorded. Let's talk about this video though, man, because what is going on here? I literally didn't understand a single word Kodak was saying, but then again, Kodak has his way of communicating. Obviously, he's speaking Yakanese, and that I do not speak. However, I do speak BlackySpeakz. On the real though, this video is crazy, man. I'm genuinely concerned after this, and this actually reminds me of something really specific because after Kodak got released, he ended up hitting the club, and there's this video that went viral of him popping his shit in the club, doing his thing. By the way, clubs are played the hell out. Personally, I prefer me a cool little lounge. I like speakeasies too because they're low-key as hell, because anybody who's there, they're supposed to be there, unlike the club where everybody's popping up. Anyway, this is the video of Kodak Black at the club, and it looks like he's enjoying himself. Now obviously this is right after the video I played you, and the strange thing is he looks like his old self, just he's enjoying his time. And I was thinking about how that was possible due to the video where he just didn't look good at all, right? The one on the floor I played you. Like, how is it possible to go from something like that to just you're out at the club and everything just seems normal? And then I remembered something I read years ago when I was doing research on addiction, which is the concept of a functioning drug addict. A functioning addict is someone who's struggling with substance abuse but can outwardly project normalcy. Functional addicts take great care to avoid looking like people who've lost control of their lives. They're good at hiding their problems. They're fearful that if found out, their reputation and career will suffer. Functional addicts continue to hold down a job. Many enjoy great professional success. Also, functioning addicts usually maintain active social lives. They can successfully hide their addiction from even their closest friends and family members. I think this might apply to Kodak because there's so many instances I've seen similar to this. But on the other hand, sometimes he looks like good old Yak, business as usual. Really just want to make this abundantly clear, and I really mean it. No more jokes, this is a serious convo. We're talking about addiction, something a lot of people battle with, especially a lot of artists. I mean, it's really easy to tell when someone's not in their right mind. It's not rocket science, you can see it and feel it. And there's been too many of these instances when it comes to Kodak for me to not speak about it in this manner. I literally just saw a video of him crying on Instagram Live, and that happened after someone said, hey, go back to jail, and Kodak started breaking down on live.
Damn, what kind of person are you? You need to go back to jail and sober up, Yak, for real, for real.
Far away, far away, far away.
How and why would you, and why do you feel like that's the answer to my, whatever you feel like?
One of the biggest issues in the music industry is people wait to intervene until something drastic happens. A lot of times people don't intervene and then the irreversible happens, and at that point it's too late. We've seen it with Juice WRLD, we've seen it with Lil Peep, we've seen it with Mac Miller. I don't know what kind of conclusion I want to draw here, but just seeing Kodak Black in the state he was in just doesn't make me feel good about the situation. I hope Kodak gets the help he needs, because if you ask me, that does look like a man who needs help. And it's not just about getting help. You really gotta change on an internal level. You gotta have a different conversation with yourself before you even seek the help, because assistance means nothing if you're not assisting yourself on the inside. If you're not completely committed to changing, nothing is gonna change. You're gonna be stuck in the same cycle until that voice in your head starts singing a different tune. So I hope Kodak takes it seriously, and I hope the people around him can encourage him to actually become better. Anyway, like the video before you leave. I appreciate you for tuning in, by the way. Any thoughts on this topic? You've seen the video, you've heard my thoughts on it. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think I'm overreacting? Is what you saw normal to you and I'm the one who's bugging here? Curious to hear what you have to say. And once again, I appreciate you and hope you have a good day. I'm out, okay? Peace. Deuces.
Didn't I tell you that you're a star? Didn't I tell you that's what you are? Didn't I tell you that you're going far? Baby, you're a star, don't doubt yourself. Ooh.